Hey, we are here at the Valiant Air Command here in Titusville, Florida. Having an open day today here at the museum. Oh gosh, they got all kinds of aircraft here on display, from World War I all the way through. A lot of interesting to me. Let me show you around. This is right up my alley here. I enjoy this. Hey, today we traveled over to the Space Coast Regional Airport here in Titusville. I always wanted to see the Warbird Museum here, and they had an open house here, so we did want to drive over. Hey, Pat here with Making RV Memories. Hey, I hope you've already subscribed to our channel. If not, just click on that subscribe button there. Click the like button, and hey, leave me a comment too. We want to come over today and sort of share with you our tour through the Valiant Air Command. It is the Warbird Museum here, and it is, oh boy, they got a lot of things on display. As soon as you walk in the showroom, wow, first thing you see is a fold wing. They kept a lot of these planes on the aircraft carriers, and it is one of the first things you see when you walk in. They had a room full of collectibles that they have gathered up from both World War I and II, and some of the conflicts afterwards. A lot of stuff in here to see. It was just hard to keep up with. Some of the models of the planes that were used during the war. Some of the things here is a Japanese flag that they procured from the Second World War. A lot of the artifacts that they've collected are just everything on display. Really give you a sense of what happened to our guys that they were defending our nation through the wars there. It was super interesting. Here's some of the heavy uniforms that the guys wore, the jackets and the caps, because you know it was in cold weather. And here's some of the uniforms that the ladies wore when they joined all of our branches of the armed forces to help during the war. Not all of them were back home putting together parts. They were actually serving our country in different places there. Betty Grable, that was I guess a heartthrob for a lot of the guys in action that kept a picture. And Bob Hope. Of course, Bob Hope entertained the troops in several of the wars. This is a big blow-up picture of Pearl Harbor. And it shows the positioning. This is actually the way all of the ships were positioned on the day of the bombing back on December the 7th in 1941. All the aircraft carriers, the bombers, everything exactly the way that was positioned on that Sunday morning when the bombing attacked there. Now let's step out into the hangar where they've put all of the planes on display. This is a big one here. Just wanted to introduce it to you. I want to thank Glenna for helping. Glenna took her camera with her out, and she's going to help show you some of the planes and describe a few of them for you. So along with my partner in life, she's going to be my partner on YouTube. So we'll let Glenna describe some of the planes to you.
We are at the Valiant War Command Museum in Titusville, Florida. It is unreal of the planes that they have here. It is so cool to look at all the old and different planes that they have used over time. If you ever get this way, you need to stop in, check this place out. It is so cool. All kinds of planes. When I saw this and saw all the aluminum that it looks like that's on it, this reminded me of an old Airstream camper. That is so cool. Never knew they had planes like this before.
If you saw the movie Midway, this is one of the planes that they launched from the aircraft carriers. It was a Douglas Sbd Dauntless, and it was used during the 40s and 50s, and it was very vital in the Japanese carrier bombings during the Battle of Midway. The Sbd on it was nicknamed Slow but Deadly, and they used quite a few of these planes during the war there.
All kinds of planes.
Here's an F-14A. This is a Tomcat, and it's built by Grumman Aerospace. They introduced this one back in 1974. It's a twin-engine fighter. And you think John Force is fast. This one's top speed is 1,500 miles an hour.
Check this one out. This is Killer B on. I like that B. Wow, different. Very different.
And stepping around to the back side of the hangar here, you can see that blue shine. That's famous for the Blue Angels there. And this one piloted by Commander Gene McWhirter, part of the U.S. Navy fleet of the Blue Angels. They're still active, but this one, one of the older ones that they had on display here, and it was shiny and beautiful. Love to see these in action when they're all together. Let's step outside. Now, they had about as many outside as they did on the inside. Some of them are super nice. I want to look at, take you over and show you the cutaway of this helicopter here. Something you hadn't seen many of. Inside this little chopper here, you can see there's no cushion seats, a lot of gauges. You can see, well, that would have been a wicked view right there, right where your foot pedals are, right down to the ground. Not a lot of comfort. They're really built for a mission, and they had a job to do, and that's what they did. If you're riding back here in the back, that's boy, you had to be. Those guys were tough as nails. Riding right on the side here where you can see out the side. Wow, my hat's off to them. We thank everybody that served in the armed forces for their service. Salute.
It's behind the hangar.
All right, so I'm told that this one here is a MiG-15 and that it does fly, that they just flew it in recently, and so they've got it on exhibit for today. Very cool planes. Very cool.
And when I stepped into the side hangar, I had never seen one like this. It's an F-82. They call it the Twin Mustang. They took two Mustang planes and joined them at the wing. So the two wings joined them in the middle. It's got individual cockpits, individual engines, and it was built based off the P-51 Mustang. It was mainly used to escort the B-29 Superfortress back in World War II, but they built it so late that really didn't get to see any action. And believe it or not, this is the last one in existence. And when they flew this one in, the owner actually brought it here. They actually flew this one here for the display. So I thought it was a little bit strange. This little yellow biplane is built by Boeing Stearman. It's a United States Navy plane that rolled off the assembly line back in the late 30s, early 40s. They used it as a military trainer plane. And they, you know, there's over 10,000 of these built. And this little baby here is a German biplane used in the First World War. Boy, it was a speedster too. The maximum airspeed on this one was 99 miles an hour, and the only range was 190. I wanted to look inside of it there. If you look, it's got just a little stick and two pedals to steer it with, so that probably was a handful back in the day. This is the back end of that Killer B that Glennon was showing you a little bit earlier. It had a tail gunner. You see the dome up there where the guy sits and the gun's out the rear. And the side gunner, so you can even get you from the sideway on that. This is actually a B-25 Mitchell used for bombing runs during World War II, with the side gunner, the tail gunner, and take a look at what's up underneath there. It's still loaded. The bombs dropped right out of the bottom there, so that was super interesting to see. Here's one of the Jeeps that was used back in World War II. They used them just about all over the war there. Transporting officers would use them to get from site to site, transporting materials and supplies. The Jeep was quite useful back in the war. Here's one of the observation Piper Cubs that they used to sort of fly over some of the places to detect where the troops are and where some of the enemy troops were too. This is an early 40s Plymouth, probably a 40, 41, 42. They mainly used the cars around some of the bigger bases to transport some of the officers around. There's so many planes here on display. They usually try to keep 50 here all the time, but this being an open house here in Titusville, they have flew in some extra planes on the outside to be displayed. It was sort of special. We were glad that we got to come by, and really glad we're getting to share it with you there. This little green Piper is an LJ4 little Piper aircraft. They use it as a liaison from 41 to 45, mainly the observation to watch over the ground troops, and they try to detect some artillery fire from the enemy, and they use it for a little bit of pilot training too. So neat little planes there when they use those. Then I did want to walk up to this one and just show you how plain and simple these things are inside. You got the foot pedals for the rudder, the little stick in there to steer it sideways and up and down. So it's really a handful. If you look in there, just a handful of gauges and a stick and 2 rudder pedals.
Okay, check this plane out.
Yeah, Geneseo, man. Been a lot of times up
I don't know what planes are, I don't know the types and things, but maybe you know. I have no clue.
I can help you there, baby. That's a Douglas C-47. They developed this plane after the airliner, the DC-3. They used this one during the Second World War to transport a lot of the troops and supplies, too. You know, they built over 10,000 of them, and there's a little over 300 of them still flying. Today, they were taking a lot of the veterans up for free rides on it. They nicknamed this one the Tico Bell. A lot of the pilots would paint the name up on the nose of the plane. This one, the Tico Bell. It was so neat to see that old plane take off. The veterans waving out the windows of the plane. So neat to see that old plane fly. Hey, we want to thank you for watching and letting us share this trip to the Warbird Museum. Hey, click on that subscribe button there and you can join our family. Hey, leave me a comment and click that like button too. Next video coming up, we're leaving Florida, leaving the Sunshine State. I've got a conclusion to my Hostess Cake suspense, and we stopped at the Krispy Kreme. And Glenn and I will always tell you thanks for watching, and God bless you.